Yep. So I'm just going to post the argument, just to be clear. And for the recording, I'm going to be defending theism, obviously. And the jinx is going to be agnostic. He's an agnostic. He is skeptical towards whether or not my argument is successfully demonstrative or demonstrative of theism being the case. So with that being said, I'll kick things off by posting my argument the in the chat. So just give me a moment. I'll just get the argument in just 1 second.
It's about to be real bad.
Argument is, can you have gay butt sex with Allison?
But this Jinx nigga's so trash. He has the worst tracking issues I've ever seen.
Found the argument.
Let me mute myself on OBS real quick so niggas don't cry about it.
Is that a hell jinx, nigga?
Just copy and paste this.
Are you putting it in open chat or the regular chat? Oh, there.
Yeah, so there's the argument to the chat. Right. So what premise do you reject in the argument?
All right, let me read this. All right, information structural reason. A reality model of meta-ontology is true, then what would that with first order conceptual or semantical conditions necessarily exist?
Mm-hmm.
That premise,
I can see.
not sure if I would accept that premise. Just explain.
Which are you skeptical towards?
Yeah, I would be skeptical towards that premise.
You're skeptical towards the first premise. The first premise is just going to be trivial fact, right? Because I'm defining informational structural realism is just going to be the position that what determines existence is just going to be information. So if something is distinct from non-information, then it does not exist necessarily. And so the determinant feature of existence and the fundamental factor of existence is just going to be information. And I take information to be something which is inclusive or is identical to conceptual content, representation.
Yeah, so information is real, then conceptual, anything that's sort of semantical or...
Anything with information is something which exists, either experimentally or as a mental object. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would not accept that.
Okay, so here's the evidence as to why this is true. So the proposition that necessarily speaking, if something is informational, then it exists, that proposition, right, it's more expected under this proposition being correct, that all things in the universe that exist, that we both grant to exist, would have information. And we observe this in the world. And so that's a successful prediction for that proposition. And so that's evidence for the proposition or the meta-ontology.
All right, so essentially what you're saying is for information, if there's any sort of information, then it's real, and you're defining real as in some sort of...
I'm not giving a definition of real, I'm just giving a theoretical landscape which would suffice or substantiate something being real. I think reality and that stuff is semantically primitive. What I'm just doing right here is just giving you the best theory which explains what determines reality, right, or existence.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't agree with how you use like semantical existence. So I don't believe that it's a true dilemma.
I'm not giving the semantical analysis of existence, so that's a blunder, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to rerun the argument again, right? I'm going to ask you this question to progress the conversation faster. Do you agree that if something necessarily is true, then it is the case that it is universally true in the actual world?
Universally true would mean what?
Yeah, so if it is to be the case that this thing is about the actual world and this thing is necessarily true, then in all instances where this thing exists or this thing is talked about in the actual world, it would be true. You agree with this, right? Like one example is it is necessarily true that a bachelor is an unmarried man. And so, of course, if that is necessarily true, then in the actual world, all bachelors would be unmarried men, correct?
Yeah, I probably agree with that premise. You're saying no contradictions or analytical truths, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying necessity entails universality. If it was to be the case, it is non-universal, then it is not necessary, right? So that's just an obvious modal.
The only scope of like necessity I would use is like logical. I'm not sure what else you're talking about.
That's the scope of necessity I'm talking about right now. If something is logically necessary, then it is universally true.
All right, gotcha. So yeah, if that's all you're saying, I'll probably grant that.
Okay, and so we see that in the actual world, it is universally true that for all things that exist, it's going to be something with informational content.
Yeah, that is. Not sure if I'd agree with that, but
What thing do you think exists which does not have informational content?
I mean that's not really relevant, obviously.
What? You
I
said that
said
you
what?
don't accept the proposition that all things which exist
Yeah, I'm
would in
saying.
fact have informational content,
Yeah, so I
right?
don't. I'm not sure if I agree with that premise.
You don't agree with this? Do you think it is expected under the proposition that all things in the universe has informational content, that for all things that we would think about, it would in fact have informational content if it was to exist?
Yeah, that wouldn't be expected under that theory. Yeah,
It would be expected, actually. That's what they should be saying. It would be expected, right?
that's what I said.
If it was, I thought they said it wouldn't be. Okay, so
No, I said it
all the
wouldn't.
things you're thinking about right now, that's fine. All the things you're thinking about right now, right, that exist, does it have information or is it something which is non-information?
The thing itself has information. I think thoughts itself are information.
Could you
Depending on
tell
how
me
you're
one
defining
thing that you
information.
believe exists which does not have informational content?
I don't really see how that would be relevant to defending the premise.
You just said a while ago that us thinking, like, if all the things we think about has informational content, if all the things that exist that we think about has informational content, then it's trivially evidence for the proposition that all things in the universe would have informational content. So of course it would be epistemically relevant to the first problem.
So is some sort of like inductive argument or abductive?
It's an abductive argument.
Okay, so you're saying that the conclusion is logical, not logically necessary.
No, I think the conclusion is logically necessary. You can use abductive arguments to demonstrate logically necessary facts. Just because something is epistemically possibly false doesn't mean it is the case that it is logically possibly false. That doesn't follow. Because the set of
Yeah,
all
that's not what I'm
epistemic
saying.
possibility, but you're basically
I thought you
pointing
were
out that
making the arguments. I thought you were taking the position that God is like logically necessary.
okay, how is it going to be incompatible with the evidence I'm giving currently? You can believe that God is logically necessary while using abductive arguments.
Well, the point is, if your whole argument depends on abduction, right? It could be the case that the abduction just doesn't like follow or the premise isn't
Yeah,
true.
it could be the case in
So
an
obviously,
epistemic modal framework, not in a logical modal framework. That doesn't follow.
so all you're saying is this is given an argument where the premise could be true.
Are you tracking what's going on in the conversation, dude? I'm saying that just because it is the case, the conclusion of the argument is possibly false, doesn't mean that that automatically negates it being logically necessarily true. Because the type of
Yeah, I'm not.
possibility by which you hold on, just calm down, champ. The type of possibility by which you're utilizing to say that it is possibly false is not that which fits a logical scope, but a epistemic modal scope.
Yeah, I never disagreed with. Never said that the conclusion.
But you're trying to
be
forward an
false.
argument saying that I'm using abduction, and so it should indicate that it is possibly false in the logical sense. That's the sort of motivation you're trying to push forth. I'm just trying to clarify the scope
So,
here that there's
do
a
you believe that
distinction.
abduction? Do you believe that abduction is possibly false or not possibly false?
I think abduction is epistemically well. First and foremost, abduction is not even a proposition, right? So it doesn't make any sense to say abduction is false or true. I think what you want to
No,
say
I'm
is the
saying
conclusion of the
like an
abductive argument
inference,
could be false or true.
objective inference.
Well, inferences, first and foremost, that's another blunder because truth and falsehood are not properties or characteristics of inferences. They are characteristics of individual propositions. I think what you mean to say is if it is possible for an abductive inference to be unsound, which in any case, of course, it's going to be unsound because it's not a deductive argument, right? That's just going to be trivially true. And so you're not really progressing the conversation again. You're just making a whole bunch of blunders.
Well, no, when I say inference, I'm just saying some sort of, like, for example, a conditional, right? Would you say a conditional is a proposition?
You think a conditional sentence is an inference?
I would say it's a proposition.
Yeah, but the proposition is not a inference. An inference is a collection of propositions. It has to be more than one proposition. There's
I'm
a
using a more
conclusion.
exhaustive, like, definition.
No, that's not an exhaustive definition. That's a retarded definition which no logician uses. Like, no, there's not even Oxford Dictionary defines an inference or an argument as a proposition. It has to be more than one propositions.
No, I'm not saying just a proposition is an inference.
You just said a while ago that you're talking about the conditional sentence, which is a proposition, when you're saying inference. So you were just talking about a proposition.
I'm not saying only for like the satisfaction.
You just said in the context you're talking about one proposition. What?
A satisfaction of an inference is not just a proposition. That's not what I said.
No. You're saying that one of the possibilities of an inference is that there's just one proposition. I'm saying that's not a possibility given the actual definition, which is utilized in common parlance by actual intelligent, non-autistic people. Right?
Yeah, so that's not what I said whenever I said that an inference can be a proposition.
You said that by inference, you're talking about a conditional sentence, and that conditional sentence is a proposition. Then I responded by saying a proposition cannot be an inference because an inference, by definition, is more than one proposition. Now you're backtracking from the original claim of you saying that by an inference, you're talking about a conditional sentence, which is a proposition. You're not talking about just a proposition.
Do you think that a inference can be more than one proposition? Can only be one proposition?
I said inference has to be more than one proposition, given the actual definition, which is utilized.
Yeah, that's just another blunder. That's obviously
it's a blunder. Your part, I agree with you definitely.
Well, a blunder is whenever
you think the general definition of an inference is compatible with just one proposition, retard?
Yeah, you could have an argument with only one premise.
Are you fucking stupid? An argument with one premise is two fucking propositions. It's going to be
okay. Do you want me to give you an example since you obviously blundered?
You're retarded. An argument which has one premise, a one premise argument has two propositions. It's going to be the premise and the conclusion. You dumb fuck. Yes, so that means an inference cannot have one proposition.
Everybody will look in chat. I'll give you a one premise argument.
A one premise argument has two propositions. You said that an inference can just have one proposition. That's incorrect. There's no fucking inference which has one proposition. You can have one premise inferences, but not one proposition inference. Do you understand the distinction between a one premise inference and the one proposition inference? The latter is contradictory.
Hey, Apollo,
the former is possible.
Look in chat. Is that an argument? I know you're getting.
Do you think you're tracking the conversation properly right now?
You just made a blunder.
You said you could have a one proposition inference, correct?
Yes.
Okay, a one premise argument is not one proposition. It's a collection of more than one propositions. Respectively, the premise. Shut up, you low-tier scumbag. A one premise argument is more than one proposition. It's going to have one premise and the conclusion, retard. A conclusion is a part of the argument.
Yeah, but I didn't say, listen, I didn't.
Yes, so it cannot have one proposition.
I didn't say anything about premise.
You said that by an argument you're talking about one proposition.
I didn't say anything about premise.
You did say this. You said by an argument or an inference you're talking about one conditional sentence, which is just one proposition.
Yeah, which is a proposition.
Yes,
correct,
so that's what you're saying. Yes, congratulations.
So
beautiful.
Look in chat.
So you committed the
premise argument.
That doesn't substantiate your point, you dumbass, because you're talking about the one proposition argument.
Oh, it doesn't support your point. You're getting nervous, dude. I can tell.
Whoa, this guy's being retarded right now. So I'm gonna rerun the point.
Obviously, that was just a blunder, but okay. We can move on.
You can use this weird, like, trash, nasty rhetoric where he's just committing the claim that someone is committing the blunder when there's like engaging in the topic.
And you trying to do damage control for
Can you track the conversation? Do you have the intellectual faculty to understand?
So obviously, you're trying to do damage control because you realize that
I do damage control. I'm trying to control your damage into this conversation right now. There's plenty of damage into your fucking trash point. And I'm controlling the damage. I'm trying to sun you right now, and you're not even listening to your father. So I'm going to try again. Okay?
At this point,
you're just in a whole bunch of nothing right now. And you're just trying to go on.
Just said he can't have a
because you're running away.
That's such a fucking
You're running away. Every single debate, whenever debate with the low-tier scumbag, always turns into rhetoric because of dumb fucks like you who won't admit you're wrong at the point. Let's run this one more time, Jinx. Okay, shut up for a second.
Go back to the premise.
You stated that calm down. Don't panic. Don't panic. You said that it is the case that you could have an argument or an inference which is just identical to a conditional sentence, which is one proposition. This is on the recording. Okay, now I told you in response, you cannot have such an argument given the colloquial general definition of what an argument is in logic and even colloquial.
Okay,
you deny that proposition. Shut up. Stop talking, my son. Stop talking. You deny that and said I committed the blunder by me saying that given the general, he's actually fucking scared.
Do you think what I just sent in the chat is
you're
argument?
peeing your diapers. You're scared for the actual audience to hear my points because you know for a fact you're getting butt fucked.
Do you know if the arguments I sent in chat is
I committed the blunder. I committed the blunder by stating the proposition.
I think you're malfunctioning
that given the
right
general,
now.
Stop talking, son.
Niggas
Relax.
fucking
Okay.
Indian.
So
Why
I'm
are you
saying that you
malfunctioning?
committed the blunder and more interruptions as the low tier's getting scared.
This
He's
guy's
actually
crashing out.
nervous right now. Oh my god, dude, I'm crashing out. Wow, what a great rhetorical response
Yeah,
to the
because
very
you
fact
didn't know
that
you can
crashing
have
out
a
to the
one premise
conversation.
argument.
You think it
You're
is
so
the case
freaking
that I would
retarded.
deny the possibility of having one premise arguments, or rather I was deny the possibility of having an argument with just
Wait,
one
yeah, I have a
proposition?
clip of you denying that. Do you want me to play it?
I've never denied the possibility of one premise argument. I've denied the possibility of just having an argument with one proposition, retard. You stated that an argument can be identical to one proposition.
Yeah, so
That's
what
retarded.
is one proposition?
Yes, an argument with one proposition is not the same as
What
an
is a
argument with
proposition
one
into your
premise.
understanding? What is your understanding of a proposition?
A proposition is just going to be any statement which is true that. A proposition is not confined to just a set of all premises. You could have a proposition in an argument which is not a premise, i.e. the conclusion. Retard. The conclusion is a proposition in the argument which is not the premise.
Yeah, so are you unaware that you can have non-syllogistic
Is the conclusion
arguments?
of an argument a proposition, yes or no?
Are you unaware that you can have
Is the conclusion of an argument
arguments?
a proposition, yes or no? Answer the goddamn question.
Yes.
Okay, now is that the premise?
Depends. No, it's not a premise.
Okay, do all arguments have conclusions?
Yeah, all arguments have conclusions, correct.
So that means all one premise arguments has more than one propositions, correct?
Depends on how you're defining with the same proposition.
No, that just follows from all the agreements and concessions you just made over the past minute, dumb fuck. If you agree that all arguments have conclusions and the conclusion is not the premise, then for all arguments with just one premise, it would not have just one proposition.
No, you're completely confused.
You're retarded.
So
I'm confused on what?
You're confused on
we can just like run this one more time, okay?
Maybe
is it true that all arguments is it true that all arguments has a conclusion? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm writing it down right now. So Jinx said yes to the question when I asked him if all arguments have a conclusion. Next question. Is it the case that the conclusion is identical to a premise or is it different from a premise?
Yeah, conclusion could be identical to a premise.
You think a conclusion is identical to a premise?
It could be. It could have the same content.
No, it could not be. A premise by definition is the proposition which is used to support a particular proposition, and the conclusion is the thing that's being supported. So functionally, they are
different. Could you have a proposition and a conclusion in the same sentence?
They wouldn't be identical. Because they have functional difference.
My question is, can you have an
They're identical, absolutely. That's not possible, no. You cannot have a conclusion which is fully identical to the premise. It would not be identical. I'll give an example. So even if I was to say that the premise which supports the... I know that's not what you're asking. I'm not telling you what you're asking. I'm telling you my response to your question.
Can you actually answer the question?
My goal is not to repeat your question. You telling me that's not what you asked me is irrelevant because you're not asking me to repeat. You're not asking me to repeat your question. You're asking me to give a response to your question.
Can you answer the question? Can you have a conclusion? An argument in the same premise?
I just said no. Literally, you're retarded.
Okay, so
I'm going to explain the response. Wait, so you agree I answered the question, right?
No, you're not answering the question properly.
So how is it the case that a no to a yes or no question is not an answer to a yes or no question? Retard.
No, because the question that I asked...
It's a yes or no question. You asked me, could this be the case? I'm saying no. Are you stupid?
Okay, so you're agreeing. So you believe that
you can't have like third grade English classes? If you ask me a yes or no question, you dimwit, you African. And I respond by saying,
you answer the question after.
And clearly, it's an answer to the question.
You didn't even answer the first time. But anyways, let me show you
the first answer. The first answer is me saying no, and then I elaborated on it by providing an example. Right? What are you talking about?
Do you want me to show you an argument where the conclusion?
Did you ask me a yes or no question, retard?
Do you want me to show you an argument where the conclusion is in the proposition?
Did you ask me a yes or no question, retard?
Do you want me to show you an argument? I know you said no. I know you said no.
Okay, so I responded to the question.
But I'm going to show you why you're obviously like making a blunder.
So what other retarded point do you have to present in the conversation?
You want me to show you? Okay, so let me show you where you're obviously making a blunder. Do you think that you can have a proposition with the conclusion in the argument?
You said that it is the case that you could have one argument which is identical to a proposition. Correct?
It's not what I'm asking right now.
Yes, you did say this. I'll give you the actual proof,
No,
which is
I'm
why you're
asking.
correct.
I'm asking.
Give me 1 second.
It's a different question that I'm asking right now. Can you answer the question that I'm asking right now?
Running from the conversation by asking me autistic, unintelligent questions is not going to give you rhetorical points. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to try again.
That I'm asking right now?
Can you stop asking irrelevant questions and get back to the point that you blundered on, retard?
How is it not relevant?
So it is not relevant because it is not in support of the possibility of the proposition that you could have one argument which is identical to just one proposition. Therefore, it is not relevant to the proposition. There you go.
Yeah, when I say identical, I'm not saying that the conclusion is the premise.
So again, right? If we just post the definition of what an argument is, do you think it's going to be compatible with your idiotic assertion, retard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can already just tell you the definition of an argument.
Holy shit, dude.
An argument.
An argument. This guy's
if you would
retarded.
let me finish, then I would actually be able to give you a definition. It's just an inference that leads to a conclusion.
Yeah, you're just being retarded. I'll just show you why you're just wrong at this, dude.
Oh, hey.
So here's like one definition. I can post. Let me just post the SCP definition. Actually, I'll post the SCP definition. God damn, dude, you're embarrassing.
You want me to post the one from Stanford?
Just calm down, dude. I'm gonna get the definition right now.
See, I don't know why I already knew that this was gonna how the argument was gonna be.
You don't even sound confident in the bullshit you're saying
right
now. Just calm down.
Defend the premise.
Relax, dude.
So since he obviously can't defend the premise, he wants to go to the
relevance.
And also he still made a blunder
so
as
retard,
well.
assuming you're not illiterate, right? Assuming you're not illiterate. Check the chat, retard. What's this? Can you read the actual screenshot or should I read for you? Is it posted yet? No? Let me just check. Hold on.
You send it in the chat. Your African Wi-Fi.
Do you see the screenshot or no?
No, just send it in chat.
Okay, hold up. Let me just repost it again. Hold up, give me a sec.
No, what chat, bro?
Okay, there you go. Posted. So read the screenshot, retard. Actually read it for you because I know for a fact you're illiterate. An argument can be defined as a complex symbolic structure where some parts, known as the premises, often support to another part the conclusion. Right? So tell me, how is that going to be compatible with the proposition if you have a one propositional argument? How can you have how can you have one argument which is identical to just one proposition? Point to me to any proposition which by itself is an argument. Point me to one proposition which by itself is an argument right now. Go for it.
Yeah, so if you would let me actually answer. Anyways, when I say a proposition...
Then do it right now. Point me to one proposition which is an argument.
You're continuously
I'm continuously trying to get you back on the relevant points because you're retarded. You need a dialectical GPS.
Okay, I'll give you the argument since you don't actually
give me one proposition which is identical to just an argument. One proposition.
Look in the chat. Okay, I'll give you it.
How's everyone's day going?
Is it the side chat or the general chat, retard?
Yeah, just look in the general chat.
Okay. General chat, post it.
Here you go.
That's not an argument. That's a conditional statement. Dude, quit debating. You're trash. Dude. You think that's an argument?
Yes.
No.
Yo, folks, make sure you're screen recording this.
Wait, Jinx, put that in P1, P2 conclusion format. Put that into like a deductive format, bro.
That's not a syllogistic argument.
Don't shut up. I asked you, put it into a deductive format, you dumb fuck. Holy God.
Okay, do you want me to put it? Okay, let me put it into
yeah. Put it like.
You think that's an argument? Even the proposition, if Apollo debates Jinx, he'll make many blunders. An argument?
Yes, that's an argument. Yes.
Where's the conclusion?
The conclusion will be that you will make many blunders, obviously.
No, that's not the conclusion. That's the consequence of the conditional sentence. You retard.
You just begged
Yeah.
the question, bro.
I'm saying the
a
condition.
consequent is a clause.
Yeah, so the consequence
It's a
can
clause.
be the conclusion.
It's a clause which is a subset of a proposition, not a proposition.
Wait, hello?
You're talking about the
Yeah,
consequence.
so
I give Chino your key.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
so
not the
why can't the
conclusion,
conclusion-
retard.
I give Chino.
it is the conclusion. How is it not a conclusion? What do you think a conclusion is?
I just explained how.
Can I give Chino your key?
You
Okay, what do you
don't
think a
have a
conclusion is?
proposition typed out which states he'll make many
Yeah.
blunders. That's a part of the proposition, not the proposition.
It
That's
is the
not the
conclusion
conclusion.
of what will happen. That's the conclusion of what will happen
Are you
if you do
stupid?
this.
Look, let me just go slowly for you, retard. I'm gonna walk you through this, okay? So walk with me, son. Okay. So this sentence, I ask you, what's the conclusion, right, for this to be an argument? You said he'll make many blunders is the conclusion for this to be an argument. The problem with this is that specifically the part where you say he'll make many blunders is not a proposition given this context, insofar as it's not the separate proposition. It's a part of the proposition, the one proposition you've typed out. For it to be a conclusion, it has to be a separate proposition from another proposition, which is attempting to support that said proposition. Right?
Okay, so the point
Why
is
are you even
not what I'm-
debating me
what I'm-
on metaphysics if you don't even know Logic 101? You don't even understand the basics of logic and you're going to be debating me on something like meta-ontology? Are you stupid? You
Yes,
came in here... Wait, stop talking, right? Because I don't know I don't think you understand who you're debating. This is the best debater of this freaking generation. He came here, right? Not
It's
even
funny 'cause
understanding
you haven't
Logic
even
101
given
and he expects to
defense
beat me
for
on
your
something
first
more
premise.
complex than logic.
You haven't even
What are
given
you
defense for your first premise, but you're the best
I've
debater.
given a
How does that
defense for
work?
the first premise. I said specifically the defense is going to be the very fact of universality, going to be something which is evidence for a necessity claim, which you conceded on, but you forgot because of dementia and you have the goldfish.
Yeah, so I
So
didn't
yes,
concede
I
to that.
didn't have to
Didn't
give
concede to that,
justification.
and that's not even the premise. It's not even the premise that I'm asking you to defend.
Are you retarded? The premise, the
He's
first
lost in
premise
the
was a strict implication. So of course it's going to invoke necessity, retard.
No, it's not. Are you completely retarded?
The first premise is a
to
conditional
specifically-
sentence. Could you tell me the distinction between strict implication and the material implication in zeroth order logic, retard?
That's not even relevant to what I'm asking.
It is relevant because you said that was
why
not my premise. My premise was something which falls under a strict implication type conditional sentence, which you don't even have any knowledge of because you've never
I'm
studied
simply
anything about
asking you. I'm simply asking you that.
I'm simply asking
And you
you,
said-
why did you come to debate me despite the very
Do you want me
fact
to
of
actually
conceptual
answer that?
impoverished?
You want me to actually ask the question?
Why are you
so you can
stumbling
answer
over
it?
your fucking words, you dumb fuck? Answer my fucking
Because
question.
you're
How is it going to be
when
the
I try to
case?
give it-
How is it going to be the
Because you're
case that
interrupting
it
when I
is
try to
not
actually ask
relevant?
the question. That's
You're
obviously like
trying to
when
track, but you're not
Yo,
tracking.
yo,
You're doing a
yo,
bad
yo.
job tracking. You tap out the conversation before it's too late, my son. I'm going to ask you the question one more time. How is it going to be the case that was not my premise, right? Especially when my premise is a strict implication, which invokes necessity operators, retard. How would that not be my premise?
Yeah, because I'm asking you to defend that all information is going to be some sort of like cement. This is going to be conceptual or experimental.
Holy fucking shit. Repeat back to me what the first premise is, retard.
It's
Word
going
for
to be informational structural reality model of meta-ontology is real or is true. Then that would be
Meta-ontology,
first order
pronounce its
conceptual or
property.
semantical conditions necessarily exist. So what I'm
Okay,
asking you
now
specifically
I'm going to ask you this
defend
question. I'm going to ask you
is to
this
show that
question.
the only
Now, is that a
sort of
strict implication? Is that a
realities are
strict or a
instrumental, conceptual,
material
semantical.
implication? Is that a strict or a material implication?
Yeah, that would just be a strict implication.
Do you know what the strict implication is?
Yeah, strict implication would just be some sort of like something that's implied that's some sort of under some sort of strict conditional, like I'm strong.
What's the difference?
What's
What's the operator difference between a strict and a material implication?
Well, strict is going to be some modal notion, right?
Okay, cool, wonderful. Now, if I demonstrate to you as to why this would be true, given the fact that necessary facts would obviously entail that that fact is universally true in the actual world, to which you agree on, how would it be the case that it is not relevant?
Yeah. I didn't agree with what you just said.
So you never agree that
That's
all
actually-
bachelors would be unmarried men under the condition that this is necessarily true in the previous part of the conversation?
It's not
You
what
never
I'm
agreed
saying
on
I
that?
didn't agree on.
Then what are you
Not what
saying you
I'm
don't
saying I
agree
didn't
on?
agree
Because
on.
I'm talking about you agreeing to the necessity implying universality of the actual world. And your response to that sentence is you saying you don't agree on that, but then I just pointed you to an instance in the previous section of this conversation to which you agreed on this.
I specifically asked you to defend that all this sort of reality or some sort of ontology is going to be informational.
I did that by demonstrating as to why all things in the universe that exist would in fact be informational. For any physical thing,
Yeah,
right?
how did you
It
demonstrate
would be
that?
informational. Huh?
I said, how would you demonstrate that?
Oh yeah, that's true. Do you agree that if it was to be the case that you have a set of all things that exist, sorry, not a set, a proper class of all things that exist, it would be the case that the elements of such proper class would either be non-physical or physical, and that would be exhaustive of all the possible elements of that class? Do you agree with this proposition?
What are you using non-physical to mean? Just
Non-physical is
give
just
me
going to be the
exhaustive.
type of thing which does not have spatio-temporality, and not something which ceases to exist at any moment in time, and it's just going to be something which is not within time, transcends spatial and temporal dimensionality. So, do we agree that given the condition, if you have a proper class of all things that exist, then all the elements in that proper class would be the type of thing which is either physical or non-physical? Do you agree on this proposition?
No, probably wouldn't agree with how you define non-physical. So I would say that's not a true dichotomy.
You don't think it is the case that it is true to say that a non-physical thing does not possess physical attributes like spatial temporality?
I don't see how that would follow.
So you don't think it follows from something not being physical that it does not possess spatial temporality?
No, I don't see how that would work.
Okay, so given the conventional definition and the actual tokens of physics, it would be the case that if something was to be non-physical, then it would actually be something which does not have spatial temporal qualities, for example.
Yeah, that would just be obviously a question of ignorance. So I'm asking you for to
No, it isn't.
justify.
I'll give you why. Because macro and microphysical objects are things which are spatially temporally extended, including electrons, which are quantum particles.
Yeah, so it's not what I'm asking you to defend.
Or is it the case
I'm
that all
specifically
things
asking you.
which are spatial temporal physical? Yes or no?
All the case, if the distinction is between whether things are
Answer the
spatial or
goddamn question.
non-spatial,
Is it the case that all things which are spatial temporal physical? Yes or no?
is space just defined as like the material?
Every physicist, by the way, you retard. Every physicist, you dumb retard. And I'm not gonna waste 15 more minutes of my time with someone of your
Yeah,
level.
so is spatial just gonna mean...
Every physicist. This is how it's defined. This is how the word physical is defined. Okay, because you have to understand that physics is the study of the physical natural world. How physicists defines physical would entail it being the case that this would be true, because all particles are physical quantum
we're
particles
just, instead of
and
the meta, can you just
macrophysical.
give me the answer? What were you going to
I
define it
just
as?
answered your question by demonstrating as to why there would be a necessary correlation given the conventional definition of a physical object and the contentions.
Yeah, you didn't actually give me a definition. You just said all physics, but you didn't actually finish anything.
I gave a definition, and you literally said the opposite. You literally said I gave a definition a while ago.
When did I say you gave a definition?
You said you don't agree with my definition. That's you agreeing that I gave a definition which you don't agree on. So of course I gave a definition. You don't agree on the definition.
I don't agree on your definition.
You said you don't agree on my definition verbatim. You said this word for word. I'm writing down what you're saying too.
Yeah, let me actually clarify what I said. I don't agree on.
Yeah, so he did in fact grant I gave a definition. Right? Now tell me
the definition that I don't agree on was about what's spirits and
was about the
and
physical object. I defined the physical thing. I defined the physical thing as something which is spatial temporal, which entails a non-physical thing being something which is not spatial temporal. You disagreed on that definitional landscape, so I gave a definition.
No, you added other thing. That's not what you did. That's not what the definition you had.
Are you on drugs?
Wrote down what the definition. I literally wrote down what the definition you gave.
Incorrectly writing down my
what you gave.
definition is not going to be evidence for a trash point right now. Sorry.
But anyways, are you going to actually give a definition? I'm interested in the actual substance.
I gave the
can't
definition.
frat.
What are you going to define spatial,
If I ask the
temporal, and also
VC, if
what are
I
you gonna
ask the
define?
VC, what is my definition of these particular terminologies? Do you think they'll repeat back to me what my definition actually was, or no?
Yeah, you probably should ask them.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Let's start with Arthur of Rivia. If you have been paying attention to the conversation, did I define the word physical and non-physical? Oh, he just joined. Let me just ask someone else. Ash, if you were listening to the conversation, did I define the word physical and non-physical a while ago? If so, type yes in the chat.
Yeah, just ask him to actually give the
And the
definition.
person who heard the definition and was paying attention to the conversation, type yes either in the side chat or in the main chat.
No, don't simply just type
Okay, so
yes.
Ash said
give
yes.
the definition.
Focus heard the definition. Professor heard the definition, but you're the only person just not tracking.
Okay, so Focus Justice, could you actually give the definition?
Kane, did you hear the definition that I've given for the word physical and non-physical?
So actually tell me what the definition is.
Wait, hold on a second, because now we're checking your tracking skills.
Yeah, you just obviously blundered.
Yeah, how did I
You just obviously
blunder?
blundered.
That was not the blunder.
Because you just said something that's non-physical, something that it doesn't have physical.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I heard a person say that like
Let
multiple
me actually
times,
explain the
bro.
blunder. You obviously blundered. It's obvious like you just blundered trying to give a definition. This dude actually just showed how he doesn't actually know what he's talking about. Yeah, because you're giving a circular definition. You're just saying because in the you're using something in the definition. Okay, but you actually, what is it? But what is a physical property? Huh? Okay, so what is a physical property? What is a physical property? It's crazy how you get angry because you realize you just made a huge fucking blunder. You just made a huge blunder. A non-physical thing is something that isn't that is not physical.
Yo, bro, wait. Yo, Jinx.
Yeah, obviously that's just a fake laugh.
Yo, Jinx. Oh, wait. So, Jinx, if I said your dad doesn't exist, how is it like a question back? I think like you're an autist.
He doesn't actually know what he's talking about. You actually pointed out somebody who doesn't even know what you're saying. That's really fucking funny. Of a dad. That's not even analogous. You just blundered again. That's not even analogous.
I'm getting a PC, bro.
You just failed at giving a proper analogy. Dude, you don't even know how to properly articulate what you wanted to say. You didn't even properly articulate it. That's funny. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that you don't even know what you're talking about. So he's gotten to the point where he just wants to end. Okay, are you done?
Debbie Hushmo.
Are you done? Are you done? But anyways, I'm going to mute this guy because he's obviously not important to the actual debate. Apollo, when you're ready to actually debate and defend the premise, then I'll be interested in that. Hello.
So, Jinx, do you have the intellectual faculty to understand the numerous blunders you've committed? And are you willing to drop the ego and just admit you're wrong on all of the points previous and can progress to the other premises?
Okay, for the sake of arguments, I'm not actually interested in the meta. Can you actually just give a definition that you want to use?
For which specific word do you want me to re-give the definition for?
Yeah, so what are you going to just define physical as?
I define physical as the type of thing which possesses spatio-temporal qualities, which is going to be observable or discoverable directly by the natural world. Or sorry, by scientific equipment, I should say. Sorry. Yeah.
So if something hasn't been discovered by scientific equipments, then it's not physical?
That doesn't fall from my definition because it's a concept. It's going to be something which has to have. Yeah, so he doesn't even understand the point, right? So sufficient condition for something to be physical is for it to have spatio-temporal characteristics.
Yeah, but you said scientifically observable.
Yeah, that's the other part of the definition. So you can have a definition which is going to be inclusive of more than one characteristics, whereas one is not necessary, but it's sufficient for it to be something which you can use to characterize the given object to be under that given universal, right? So that's another bundle,
So
right?
it's
Just
pretty
because
obvious.
it's part of my definition doesn't mean it's a necessary.
The definition you just gave wasn't actually a good argument. definition.
Jinx, nigga, shut your bitches.
Are you going to give a definition that's going to encapsulate? Are you going to give a definition that's actually going to encapsulate every single thing that's physical?
How is it the case my definition does not encapsulate all physical things?
Because obviously you just said that the conjunction that you just gave does not encapsulate everything, because there's things that are going to be physical but not scientifically observable, correct?
Are those things for physical, spatio-temporal?
Well, depends on how you're defining spatial-temporal.
Having spatial dimensionality.
That's not even. It's not even relevant to the point.
It is relevant because the spatial temporality aspect is a part of
one part of the definition, but it doesn't fulfill the entire definition. Correct?
Are you retarded? The definition is inclusive of more than one properties that are sufficient for something to be physical.
Okay, so
it is not the case that my definition isolates. It's not the case.
Physical, something that has
all you're doing right now is just barking in the background, and you're not tracking what's going on. So just listen up and log in.
Is physical going
you
to mean
are
something
just
that is
running away from another blunder you've committed. So just shut the fuck up for a second, right?
Are you going to actually answer the question or
I'm saying
not?
That
because you obviously just showed how you don't know what you're talking about. Because you gave a definition. And immediately got shown how the definition isn't even exhaustive. When I asked you for an exhaustive definition, and you clearly blundered, and now you're trying to actually make some sort of damage control rhetoric.
Stop talking.
But anyways, can you actually answer the question?
It is the case that there's nothing you've said a while ago which entails or indicates. Son, stop talking. There's no part of what he said which indicates that my definition. Son,
what is that?
Tyrone, bad boy. Okay. What I'm saying here is that my definition, Tyrone,
shut up.
Stop talking. Okay. So Tyrone, what I'm telling you here, son,
okay, now can you answer the question when I actually stop talking?
Son, my seed, stop talking. So I'm telling you that nothing that you've given a while ago. You look like you patient. Just stop talking. Okay. I'm going to give you 4 more strikes.
3.
So I'm telling you here that my definition does not isolate any of the sufficient conditions.
6.
Right? So it is not the case
7.
that my definition would indicate that there are things
8.
which would be physical, which is not covered
9.
by my definition. So 10. You're just dead wrong with this.
11.
It's going to be 115. Damn.
Are you done counting?
Should I try to go for 120?
13.
If you're counting the amount of blunders you have committed in the conversation, you have 20 more to go, by the way. 33 blunders. Okay. Oh, actually, 18. You got like around
19.
Good amount to go.
20.
13 more before you reach the amount of blunders committed in the conversation, by the way.
22.
Like, this is
23.
insane, nigga.
10 more blunders.
24.
I'm doing this shit. Like, I'm
9 more blunders.
doing this shit.
8 more blunders.
26.
Now I'm
7 more blunders.
Yeah,
6 more blunders.
But I don't even know nothing about that shit. But that
you're almost there, dude. You're almost there.
Like, confused.
Wonderful argument, buddy. Wonderful argument.
And you haven't even given a definition.
Genius.
Are you going to give a definition?
You just said I've given the definition, but it does not encapsulate all things which are physical. What
I'm asking you for the definition of it is something that actually encapsulates everything.
You said I did not give a
for a different
definition,
kind of
which is
definition.
in contradiction to you saying I gave a definition which you don't believe is exhaustive.
Yeah,
retard.
when I'm saying you didn't give a definition, it's not giving a definition of the new thing that I'm asking you to
So I
define.
gave a definition. But your dumbass just don't think it is a good
Not
definition.
of what the new thing that I asked you to define.
That just sounds like a skill issue. You're just like, panicking.
So
I'm gonna re-give the definition. I'm gonna
not?
re-give the definition, right? So
Can you give
the
a
definition of given,
where
and I
it's
want you
going
to
to
point to me
encapsulate
how it is
everything
going
that's
to be
physical
something
and the
non-exhaustive.
non-physical? Just give me two
My
definitions.
definition of a physical thing is the type of thing which is going to be, again, something which possesses spatiotemporal characteristics, which could also be the type of thing, or is the type of thing which is discoverable by the equipment that we have
What I'm
available.
gonna try to do
Now,
is
the
if he
latter
can't,
part
like,
of
if
that
he can't
definition
put
does
Jalen
not have to be
slash, like,
something
100
which is
justice,
necessary
I might
for
just have him
something
put,
to
like,
be
Jalen
physical.
or some shit.
It's just a sufficient
Alright, got
condition,
you.
which is just to say
And then-
that if something is to be
Am I good?
discoverable by scientific equipment,
Yeah, it's only
then
three,
it would be
bro.
physical. And if something is to be spatiotemporal, then
Nah,
it would be physical. How
nah,
in the
fuck it.
goddamn world would it be the case that this
Fuck,
definition is
'cause, like,
not
you see how
exhaustive of
Jox
all
has
physical
this
things, you
Jox, but it's
dumbass?
like-
How so?
It's like
Well, are you going to use the first definition as an exhaustive definition or a second?
That's the first definition.
No.
Hmm?
Yeah. I can't. Why was you getting
Track.
like, that shit? Like,
Put your tracking goggles on
Anyways,
and
since it's obvious that you don't
I could
actually know what
finally-
you're
I
talking
could
about,
really finally
are you going to
just
use a
notice-
non-physical
great
definition
argument,
as
dude.
the
What a
opposite?
genius. What a
Are you
genius.
going to use a non-physical
Oh my
definition
God,
as the
dude, what
opposite
a
of what you just
At
said?
10 p.m. and then get off, and then I'll
So
Oh
you
my
said the
God,
type
the
of thing which
genius.
possesses
The
spatial
most
temporal
talented
characteristics or
intellectual
discoverable.
mind ever since Tesla.
So
My
would
God,
you say
dude.
non-physical
Holy,
is a thing that
dude, what a great
does
argument.
not possess spatial temporal characteristics or
Could
non-discoverable?
you point me to
Is that
one
what you're going to use
thing
as a
which
definition?
is physical, which is not satisfied by my definition, retard?
So is something that's non-physical, is it non-discoverable?
Yep.
Well, that's one of the definitions that you gave that encapsulates everything, correct?
That's not a definition. It's a secret, or not a secret. It's a part of the definition. I should
You just said
say.
that's not
It's
a
part of the
definition?
Who said that the part of discoverable by scientific equipment was the definition? I said it was a part of the definition.
Yeah, it's
not the
included in the definition, correct?
Okay, so it's not the definition and not the consumption.
Is it included in the definition,
it is the
right?
case that you're just trying to attack a straw man. You're just trying to punch down the straw man of my argument and not my arguments, right? So
You're
now
nervous.
I'm nervous. Am I?
Something that
Do I
is-
sound
something that is
nervous,
not in-
son? Do I sound as if I'm panicking? Listen to my voice. Do I sound as if I'm nervous, son? Do I sound
Yeah,
as
you
if I'm
sound like you actually don't
unconfident?
know what you're
Or
talking
do I
about, because
sound
you
like
obviously
a
made
bigger
a
chat debater who's the
definition
best of all time,
when I
who's
gave you something that is
dominating you
not
right now with your face
discoverable, then you're
down
obviously
and
gonna
ass
still
up in
say
the
that it's not
conversation?
physical.
Do I sound nervous?
Really
Do I
funny.
sound nervous, chat? Chat, do I sound nervous? Shut the fuck up.
Your
Dude.
definition
Anyways,
is
just
something
been
that is
playing this Reddit
discoverable,
games.
correct?
These
So if something is
low
non-physical,
tier
it's
Jedi mind
non-discoverable.
tricks. It's not gonna work on me. I
Yes or
invented
no,
all of
correct
these
or not?
rhetorical strategies. You're just copying the template at this point, right? So I'm gonna tell you right now, right? I can see through your rhetorical jabs inside out. This is empty calorie rhetoric.
I'm simply
Right, so I'm gonna
asking
ask
for you to
one
give
more
me a
time. I'm
definition
gonna ask
that's
you one
actually
more time.
exhaustive.
How is it
Can you
gonna be the
actually give a
case
definition or
that
not?
this definition was a blunder? He's running. How is that gonna be
Okay,
the
are you
case?
going to actually let me answer?
Waiting for the answer.
Okay, so are you going to actually not interrupt me when I give the answer?
Waiting for the answer to the goddamn question.
Well, are you going to interrupt me like you did last time? Or not?
Waiting for the answer, slow boy.
Okay, are you going to interrupt me when you actually give the answer?
Waiting for the answer, son.
Bro.
Are you going to interrupt me when I actually give the
Because he
answer?
just
Tyrone,
keep, like, this
answer the
nigga keeps,
question.
are you gonna interrupt
That
me?
is getting
Are you
pissed
going to
off.
interrupt me
This nigga
when I
just-
actually give an answer?
You're gonna interrupt me. I'm gonna interrupt you each time you don't answer the goddamn question. So start off your next sentence.
You just
by
don't know what
answering
to say, bro. Like,
Okay, I'll actually attempt to answer the question. So what is the question you're actually going to ask me? Well, I don't want the nervous laugh. I want you to actually give me...
You forgot
I don't want the nervous
question.
laugh.
He doesn't know.
I don't need the nervous laugh. Can you actually give the answer?
I'm not nervous. I'm crying right
What is the
now.
actual question
You don't even
that you want
know
me to
the
answer?
question, dude.
Yeah, because you were interrupting me every single time I would try to respond.
Yeah, so you're busy trying to play a rhetorical,
obviously just a
you're trying
nervous-
to be a rhetorical
obviously just a
titan,
nervous laugh.
and
Like,
you
are
do
you
not
gonna
even
actually
try
answer the
what's
question?
going on in the
Bro.
conversation. Huh? Is that what happened?
Are you going to actually answer the question or not?
You're Rhetoric Maxon, but your tracking skills is way off board, dude. Anyways, my question was, given what I've said a while ago insofar as the discoverable by scientific equipment aspect not being the definition, how is it going to be the case that my definition was a blunder? Come on,
so
son,
it
I
would
believe
obviously
in
be
you.
a blunder because when I asked you, is something that's non-physical something that's going to be discoverable? You obviously said that something can be discoverable while
I
also
said
being
no.
non-physical, correct?
Is this guy
Are you going to say
retarded?
that something that's
You asked me
non-physical,
if it
something
is
that
the
cannot
case
be
that the
discoverable?
non-physical thing is discoverable. My answer is obviously no.
Okay, so you're
Doesn't
saying
mean that
that
all
God is
non-discoverable
non-physical?
things are you retarded? Just because all non-physical things are non-discoverable doesn't mean that all non-discoverable things are non-physical. That's a logical
Well,
fallacy.
if you're saying the necessary conditions for something to be physical is non-discoverable or discoverable,
I never said that was a necessary condition. I said it was a sufficient condition.
okay,
It's
sufficient for what
sufficient.
specifically?
It's sufficient condition for something to be physical, sorry. I said the sufficient condition for something to be physical is for it to be
So
discoverable by
okay,
scientific equipment. It's not that it was a necessary condition, you autistic scumbag.
okay, so when somebody does, for example, is God discoverable?
No, he's not discoverable. We can't see God, retard. You think God has height? Are you stupid?
Yeah, obviously you're completely confused. When I say discoverable, I'm not simply saying epistemically. Yeah, obviously I know what
Discoveries
you're.
are observations, you idiots. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
When we use the word discovery
when I
in
s-
science, we're talking about observations. You
yeah, I'm talking
understand
about
this, right? We
empirical
can't
discovery.
observe God. We can't see God. There's no theist who is gonna say, "Yeah, I can see God. He's like 6 foot tall." Yeah, no, they're not gonna say this, retard.
Yeah,
Unless
but
they
I'm
themselves
saying
are
when
just
I
as
say
retarded as you are.
discoverable, I'm saying can you logically is there an argument that can
So when you're
logically
saying
discover God?
discoverable, you're just talking about
Yo,
something which is not relevant to my definition,
he
correct?
doesn't know what to do. He's
Well,
just
that's actually
trying at this
relevant to your
point.
definition because it's included in your
No, because
definition.
I don't share the same analysis
How
of
long does
discovery
these
as you do, so clearly
last?
it's not
Like,
relevant, and you're trying to attack my
Okay,
analysis
so
of
what is
discovery. Dumb fuck.
discoverable?
I just said that by discovery, I'm just talking merely
damn.
about empirical observation. So of course, God is not going to be discoverable. Doesn't mean he's not provable.
Okay, so if anything is empirically observed, then that means it's non-physical?
Repeat the question, retard.
If something is empirically not observed, then it's going to be non-physical?
No, that doesn't
Well,
necessarily follow.
You said that if
I
something is
said if
physical, then that
something is
means
non-physical, I said if something is non-physical, it's going to be empirically non-observable. Not if it is the case that something is empirically non-observable, then necessarily it's non-physical. That's another fallacy.
okay, so when God does an action, is that going to be discoverable?
The action is not God. Are you stupid?
It's not what I'm asking.
This guy's retarded.
Are you going to answer what I'm asking or not?
I have a strict policy of not answering theoretical questions, which is irrelevant to the fucking point, right? You said, is God discoverable? Do you agree that given my definition, God would not be discoverable? He's unlocked. Holy shit, dude. Every time I think that there is not going to be a debater who is like every time I just debate someone and I believe, yes, this is the most retarded debate I've ever debated, someone just always just surpasses the sort of expectation. It just always happens. I thought Harrison to be the most retarded debater of the year so far. Then you come and just destroy his retardation record, right? You come here and you mistrack and commit basic fallacies, which I wouldn't even commit 5 years ago. Like seriously, what are you even doing right now? Why are you even still in this voice call, dude?
Hello? All right, so, sorry.
He's still here. He's actually still here
Can
to
you
get
hear
more
me?
aspect. I can hear you, dude.
Yeah, but I'm
Alright.
recording. I got my OBS fixed, bro. What's up?
Yo,
Anyways.
focus. Are you listening to what's even going on right now, dude?
Yeah, I'm unaware of what you were saying earlier. The mic was like cutting out. But anyways, can you defend the premise one or no? Hello?
We hear you, bro. We hear your corny stuff.
Who even is that?
I did. Shut up. You suck, bro.
This guy is like the Bonnet Blue of this debate VC right now. He's getting passed around like a fucking ragdoll. Holy shit! Look, I'm gonna give you another chance.
Do you think?
I'm gonna give you another
getting
chance.
passed
I'm gonna give you
around is
another chance to
somebody yelling
redeem
in the
yourself.
background?
Why are you trying to mock
Tell
Apollo? Why didn't you
Cheerleading?
look tough, bro?
Wait, yo,
I'm
Professor
asking
Chill.
you to actually give an
Yo,
argument
Jinx,
for
just
P1.
tell me. Just tell
Do
me,
you actually
son.
just
What's the
do you
tell
actually
me,
just
son?
reject the debate? Because
Son,
obviously you're not
tell
trying
me
to
what's the
defend the
problem with
premise.
my definition. What's the
Listen,
problem?
if you want to
with
use
the
a definition, you can use it, but then I'm going to ask you to justify the premise still.
Tell me what the problem was with my definition. What's the problem with definition?
Yeah, the problem with your definition is because you were saying that a physical thing is discoverable, correct?
Don't ask me a question. Give me the argument as to why there's a problem with the definition.
Yeah, the problem is because obviously you can have non-physical things which are discoverable, correct?
No.
Okay, so you're obviously
You think it is
don't even know
obvious
what
that
you're
a
talking about.
non-physical thing is something we can observe? You think that's obvious? Are you stupid?
Yeah, under the definition of something non-physical, it doesn't. Well, obviously not
Under
sure
my
stupid
definition of something
but
which
I'm
is
talking about.
non-physical, it lacks spatial
I'm going to use
temporality.
I'm going to use actual like intelligent definition, right? Not your stupid one. Non-physical is just going to be something that doesn't have some sort of like physical properties, right?
Under my definition of non-physical, it's something which does not have spatial temporality necessarily. It can't be within space.
Okay, and so are you using spatial temporality just mean having properties?
No, you can have properties which are not spatial temporal.
Okay, so what are you using spatial temporality to mean?
It's not possessing or being within the dimensionality of space-time.
Not possessing, but good stutter, by the way.
Could I ask you a question? How many
What?
dimensions constructs space-time?
Bro.
3D.
His accent just strong, bro.
Did you just say 3?
No, I'm not really learned in physics and stuff like that.
Nigga, you are retarded. As a matter of fact, you're muted. I'm being that serious. This guy's retarded. This guy is like the most brain-dead organism I've faced over the past year, perhaps. By the way, space-time is 4D, you dumbass. 3 dimensions is space, and one of the dimensions is time. Space is 3 dimensions. Space is height, length, and width. Time is another separate dimension, which is tied to space, which is 3-dimensional. You're retarded. You know? As a matter of fact, you're not even qualified to debate me on theism anymore. Just get back to me in maybe 8 months' time. Start for logic first, and then afterwards you come back on physics. You're retarded. And by the way, you can type and cope and do this post-loss damage control in the chat, but everyone in the chat literally does not agree with the prop that you have won the conversation. They are literally mocking you right now. You have objectively got embarrassed in every single point. And please and thank you. Just
and no, wait, my bad for interrupting, Jinx. What do you mean? You didn't even give a P1.